Hi and welcome to Cat Fasting. So today I'm going to talk about why I chose to do fasting in conjunction with my GLP medication. So I've actually been fasting for quite a long time, since about 2015 when I heard about the Warrior Diet, which is 20 hours of fasting and 4-hour eating window. And over time, gathering information, especially from Dr. Jason Fung and his book, The Obesity Code, and in the last couple years, Gin Stephens, that's Gin, Stephens with a PH, and her books, Delay, Don't Deny, Fast, Feast, Repeat, and others, and her podcast, Intermittent Fasting Stories. I've gathered a lot of information about the mechanics of fasting from Dr. Jason Fung and Gin Stephens, her own personal story of fasting and weight loss, and her podcast, hearing other people's examples. And it's where I've been gathering a lot of information. For me, fasting works. I've tried all the other diets, basically, and none worked. That's actually not totally true. Most of them, the weight loss worked, but being able to maintain that weight loss or even to reach a final goal and to maintain never worked. And that was because I didn't know how the body actually functions within weight loss and maintenance. And I'm not an expert by any means. I'm always still learning. But from my understanding, and simply put, insulin is a fat storing hormone. When I eat, insulin is secreted, and when insulin is in my system, I am not burning fat. So being on a GLP medication, it might seem preferable to eat tiny little amounts throughout the day to allow for digestion, to allow for whatever protein goal I'm supposed to have. But if I'm eating tiny little bits in a massive eating window, I'm not burning fat. So I may be losing weight, but what I want to do is to maintain my metabolic rate so that I don't have to eat very low calorie every single day for the rest of my life. And I also want to make sure that my muscle is being as protected as possible with human growth hormone through fasting. And I want to be able to lose the majority as actual fat. So again, fasting works for me all the time. And it is also the only method of weight loss I've ever tried where I get pretty massive pros, meaning pro versus con. So when I fast, I have a lot of energy. My mind is very clear. I am able to do, tedious tasks when it comes to work. I am able to work out and do exercise easier when I'm fasted because I don't feel sluggish or weighed down or any of the things that happen after a meal for me. Fasting also is free, and that's a big deal for me. I've spent a lot of money over the years on gadgets and books and plans and programs and special foods. This, I don't need that. I spend less than $10 on any day that I am not eating, because that is my 1 to 3 cups of coffee. I make iced green tea, and I buy mineral water, sparkling mineral water, just because just keeps the day from being completely boring. If I wanted to, I could do just water from the tap, and it could be completely free to me. And that is amazing. Sometimes I do use a little pink Himalayan salt, but again, this is pennies compared to what I could be spending on programs. I don't have to plan or prepare anything. I can go about my day without having to worry about stopping for food, preparing food, where can I get food, how am I going to eat the food, where am I going to eat the food. My kitchen stays clean all day. I don't have to be worrying about where the nearest bathroom is. Sorry, that's a bit TMI. I can just move about my day in a very easy way. And it really does help my anxiety. In fact, the days where I do eat are more of a hassle than the fasting days. And I'm now in the point that during an eating day, I am looking forward to my next fasting day because it is simple. Now, I do get really good results from it, and I am getting some body recomposition. So fat is coming off areas that traditionally maybe they wouldn't come off. I know my face still looks huge, but it was really huge before. And I know that's kind of could be like Ozempic face, but it is nice to sort of have it come off in areas that help me breathe a little bit better. What else is good about fasting? I think the reason why fasting isn't talked about as much as it should be is because it is difficult for people to make money from it. And there definitely are companies out there who want to sell, fasting supplements and that sort of thing. I have tried some in the past. I find they don't really help me all that much. I don't do any fasts that are at a length where I need to worry about being depleted of minerals. I've never gone further than a 66-hour fast, and I do put salt under my tongue. But I've never got to the point where I feel ill or shaky or dizzy. And I certainly don't have any experience or advice for longer fasts. But I definitely think, it's something I'm going to do for life. And another great thing about fasting is it's completely flexible. I do have to manage my expectations of results if I change the length of my fast, but it is very, very easy to keep going. I never give up completely. I always do a minimum 16-8, but nowadays that is so rare. I would say if I do ever have a normal day of eating, that would be an 18 hours of fasting in a 6-hour window. On the medication, it's so important for me to have as empty of a stomach as possible before I go to bed. So that does mean I need to finish eating by 5 or 6 p.m. and that's going to bed at 10 or 11. I can't sleep on a full stomach at all. But that's not difficult for me to do. The only thing about fasting is I do get hunger waves. But the good news is for me, hunger is no longer an emergency. And the hunger signals only happen at the times I usually eat on my eating days. And it'll just come as a wave and then it'll go away. It doesn't get worse and worse and worse and worse. It just sort of peaks a little and then it passes. And I'm really lucky that I've learned that for me, it's more of a mental struggle. I don't care about being hungry anymore. If I'm out and about and I haven't eaten, it's not a big deal to me. It's more the boredom and not being able to self-soothe with food. I've certainly never sat around during a fast wishing I could have a salad. And in fact, if I'm eating as clean as possible, doing the full 48 hours doesn't matter to me because I'm about 45 hours into my 48-hour fast currently, but I'm in no rush to break it because I'm not going to order junk food in. I'm going to be breaking it with healthy, nutrient-dense foods so I can easily wait as long as I have my coffee, my black, unsweetened, unflavored coffee. So I'm still eager to keep learning about fasting and autophagy. Autophagy is something I'm really happy that fasting involves because I like the thought that right now my body is repairing. And the longer I fast, the more that ramps up. Although I do think it peaks at about 72 hours, but don't quote me on that. Definitely check out Dr. Jason Fung. He's my favorite expert on fasting. So I can go into more details another day. Again, this week I'm doing 2 48-hour fasts, and my second 48-hour fast will be, I will be having surgery on my eyelid, and we'll see if that makes any difference to my healing. And for any further information, recommend Dr. Jason Fung. He has great videos. He really avoids mentioning specific foods. So if you're someone who's triggered by the mentioning of food, and I apologize when I do it, you can definitely safely watch his videos. And Gin Stevens and Delay Don't Deny, or Fast Feast Repeat, or Intermittent Fasting Stories. Those are my favorites. Great for inspiration. And thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.